this project to me doesn't have a genre. Afrobeats has the same connotation as the word urban. Urban music. Urban is just the way that they define black music over here. What we did with Africa was put all of the music that all of them make under this one umbrella term. This is the Rhythm and Rhymes podcast. I'm your host, AJ Hughes. I'm here with my co-host, Antonio Hughes. And the question we are here to answer today, does music really have no borders? Listen, how are you doing, first of all, before I dive into this topic real quick?
Doing good, just got back from a camping trip.
Well, shout out to you. Today, I wanted to start with this Instagram reel that came across my feed. We're going to cut to some of it so you can see what we're talking about. But this artist named Berlin47 was on a podcast called La Casa de Alofoque. Don't know what that means in English. We'll find out and we'll put it right here. But he was on there defending his choice of doing a remix and a collaboration with a Haitian artist. So Berlin47 is Dominican. And I thought the clip was so interesting because a lot of the podcast hosts were essentially accusing him of being anti-Dominican for doing the song.
¿Qué tiene de malo que yo haga un remix con una persona de nacionalidad y que haitiana? Un tipo que lo que anda, anda haciendo el mal, no anda haciendo el mal.
Antidominicano.
¿Pero por qué?
Traicionero.
¿Por qué yo soy traicionero? ¿Porque yo grabo con un haitiano?
Sí.
¿Eso no es traicionero? ¿Por qué yo soy traicionero?
Bueno, te voy a explicar el contexto político. A ver. Y el contexto social.
La música no tiene frontera, hermano mío.
Totalmente.
Y yo estoy grabando una música, ¿sabes? La música no hay. Incluso lo exigí eso yo.
¿Qué exigiste?
No, cero bandereo, cero de que vaina rara, ¿me entiendes? Porque cuando van a ver yo querían traer un video de por ahí o algo. El video es un video neutro que no tiene ningún. Es más, el video.
And what was more interesting about his defense was that he said they picked a neutral spot for the video so that nobody could claim one side or the other. There were no flags allowed in the video. And then also when, before the song came out, they translated all the lyrics to make sure that there wasn't any politicized language in it. His claim was that music has no borders and there's no politics in music. He liked the song. It was blowing up and he wanted to get on it. The artist's name was African Ann and the song was called Leo Leo. But I thought this was so interesting because I knew that there was tension between the two sides of the island, but the history behind DR and Haiti, it illuminated why Dominicans may feel that way. So I wanted to share some of that with you. Is that cool?
Yep. Well, I was down here.
So the Dominican Republic declared independence in 1844, which was after 22 years of Haitian rule. So once Haiti freed itself, it was ruling over that side of the island. And they broke off from Haiti in 1844. And so that's why that's where the initial tension starts, right? They essentially looked at them as not their oppressors, but they were ruling over them for a period of time. And then under Rafael Trujillo, anti-Haitianism became state ideology. So they were essentially pushing us versus them to the people in the Dominican Republic. In 1937, Dominican forces killed thousands of Haitians and Haitian-descended people near the border. Trujillo-era nationalism elevated Spanish, Catholic, and European-coded Dominican identity in opposition to the radicalized depictions of Black, Creole-speaking, and voodoo-practicing Haiti. There are still a lot of things happening in Haiti now. Haiti's security and humanitarian collapse has intensified Dominican debates over migration, the border, and public services. I don't know if you've seen on TikTok or Instagram, like people that report near the border. It's still so crazy. If you look Black in DR near the border, the police will just pull up on you, stop and frisk you and be like, yo, are you actually Dominican? Like it's like some ICE stuff.
Damn. It's like
that. But I just wanted to provide that context on Haiti and DR. But I guess back to the song, do you think that music can ever be non-political in that way? Right? Or do you think the history between the two countries is so deep that people are going to view it away?
there's a lot of artists who don't, I guess, dive into political topics. When you have a voice and when you have a face that can spread wide to a group of people, I feel like him showing a message of kind of like unity between the two countries, even though he didn't choose to take a political stance in any way. He just chose to make a song with the Haitian artist. I think that's a good thing. Like, I think the way he chose to do that was a positive. I think obviously there's still issues between the two countries, and there still probably will be issues between the countries. Obviously, we're seeing stuff that's as recent as 2026, like it's this year, but it's I think at least he's maybe trying to do the work to at least see, like, okay, they're not sitting here dissing another country. I translated the lyrics. I came and made sure there was no flags in the video. Like, this is just about music.
Oh,
So
wait. I guess the nuance there, if you go watch the clip again, it wasn't like I'm trying to promote. He wasn't giving us, I'm promoting all positivity. It was like he was saying, I took all the precautions to make sure this wasn't a pro-Haitian video, essentially. Like, oh, it was no, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like he was like, yo, I'm pro-Haiti. It was more like, I'm for the music, but don't think I'm anti-Dominican. It was more like that.
just because you're not anti-Dominican, that doesn't mean you're anti-Haitian because of that.
Yeah.
He didn't say so. Like, that's more so what I got from it. But also, yeah, I think that there's certain people who just aren't sitting there trying to make politically driven music. So I don't think there's an issue when it comes to him just trying to, oh, I like the song, I want to hop on it. I think if it was a song that had a more politically driven message and like that's what it was focused on, then you could maybe have more of that argument. But like Gianna said, he took all the precautions. It's so genreless that we're gonna keep seeing this type of, I guess, collaboration. I don't know if it's gonna be between feuding countries, but
I would agree with you. I think to me, if like go back and watch that video again, and it was to me, it was just very telling that it was like he was very much like on the defense. Like, I'm not anti-Dominican, I'm not anti-Dominican, as opposed to being like, why is there so much tension? Or why are we causing so much tension over a song? You know what I mean? Like if his position was more like, hey, I'm I don't have anything against Haitians. I think it was a good song. The guy seems cool. He's not on anything anti-Dominican. So I was gonna jump on the record. I think I would have been like all the way there with him. But there was just like towards the end of the clip, I'm like, oh, he's just like the last thing he wants to be viewed as is somebody that loves Haitian people. That's how I took it, which was so crazy to me, you know? I guess broader than them because I'm not going to spend too much time on these two artists because I had never heard of them prior to this song. The song's okay. I just thought it's cool because the song to me it doesn't supersede the history of the two countries, but in this very moment, the history of the two countries does not make me look at the song any different. Like, it's a good song, so I'm just gonna listen to it, you know?
yeah, but it is interesting to learn that history because I would have never known it was that that much beef, that much of an issue between the two countries. So
I knew there was history there just because of the nature of how Haiti became to be its own country, right? Like, it was very much them separating from I'll say mixed, but I guess yeah, we'll say mixed for YouTube or whatever, but how they were trying to separate from the mixed people and the white people that came to the island. But I didn't know too much of the history after Haiti became a state. So this was definitely illuminating that I learned in my research. Okay. Ayra Starr. Ayra Starr put out her third album, StarrGirl, this past Friday. It's 46 minutes, 16 tracks. The features, which we'll get to, K1, Wizkid, Leon Thomas, Theodora, Rema, Zayn, and Danny Ocean. This was released on Mavin Records, just like the last two. And I wanted to bring it here to you because I wanted to ask you, do you think this is Afrobeats?
I think it's leaning more on that whole Afro swing lane. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Afro swing is about to be one of those like really bigger sets of genres of people coming out. Like I consider Odile to be like one of the main people in that lane right now, and I would put that more in this where we're getting R&B sounds, we are getting Afrobeat sounds, we're getting R&B features, we're getting some of those bigger faces just off of American artists, but we're still getting a lot of artists from Nigeria and South Africa and stuff like that. I would put it more in that lane, and I think that's where I would stand on that personally.
I would disagree because I look at Afro swing as westernized Afro beats. Westernized westernized Afro beats. That's how I would look at it, right? So mainly artists that are of African descent that live in the UK or in Europe doing African music. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's what I would categorize as Afro swing. This project to me doesn't have a genre. You know, you could say Afro. Like I see people online saying Afro pop, but I feel like to me, Afro beats has the same connotation as the word urban music. You know what I mean? Urban is just the way that they define black music over here. So you can put R&B, you could put hip hop, you could put a bunch of different types of music over here. But we've just taken what we did with Africa was put all of the music that all of them make under this one umbrella term. So I look at it as the same as urban. But on this project, you have R&B, you have Afro, like a traditional, what would be considered an Afrobeat song. You got Bouillon, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of stuff on here. You got a little bit of house. I think this would be considered like a pop album where it's like so broad that it's appealing to a lot of different genres. And I think it is time that we address that Afrobeats term. I don't know. I like the fact that who I see as probably the second biggest woman Afrobeats artist putting out an album that doesn't fit into Afrobeats. I think the conversation needs to happen. I don't know.
That's the case. Did you feel that way about the year I turned 21? Because Giveon is on there and Coco Jones is on there, and there was a lot of, I guess, mixed there too. Or would you still consider that to be Afrobeats?
I would
And I guess
consider that.
you
I
go ahead.
would. I would say that album. This is a more matured version of that album to me. Right? Like that album has a lot of similar elements. There's On My Piano inspired songs on there. There's true R&B inspired songs on there. Regular Afrobeat songs on there. I think she's like, I would generally say she's trying to go pop. She's trying to be broad, which isn't a bad thing, but she's trying to hit a bunch of different, because if you go listen, there's a bunch of different types of genres of music on this last one. And on this one, like the one she did with Theodora, I was like, not for me, but I like that she tried it. That was like Caribbean style record. So I would say she's probably that last album, whatever this genre that we're defining is, I'll put that last album in there too.
Okay, and my other question would be, what do you consider to be traditional Afro beats? Because I do think at this point it is becoming kind of like the term urban, and I do think Afro beats is becoming more in the pop lane at that point, or they're trying to push it into the pop lane with the artists that they're trying to push. Because if you would have told me that this is what would be considered Afro beats when I heard the first Ashake album that I heard, I wouldn't probably have believed you just as a person who was brand new to the genre.
I would say repeat that.
What artists do you think currently are making, like, I guess, Afrobeats still in comparison?
Well, the question was initially, what would you define as like traditional Afrobeats, and then what artists are are currently making it. If I'm listening to my African correspondents, you know what I'm saying, people who grew up on a continent, I would say like a lot of the mid to late 2000s, I would consider that as, if we had to consider it a genre, that style is what would be considered Afrobeats, which would just be West African music with specific drum patterns. I'm not gonna sit here and try and break down the drum patterns for you, but I can give you a couple songs that I would think are Afro beats. We'll put them in right here. I'll give them to you after the episode. But now, I would say still making traditional Afro beats.
Or like at least what you think Afrobeats is. If you don't think this is Afrobeats, what do you think is Afrobeats at this
And
moment?
that's why I don't, because my thing is, it's like the artists that are out today, none of them are making, a lot of them are making music over, like, personally, Benson is one of my favorite Afrobeats artists, right? And the drum patterns and the type of production that he picks is what would be the general consensus of Afrobeats now. I would say, like, think of the production on like So by
Yeah.
Omale. Like that type of pocket is what most people today would consider Afrobeats, right? But I would say the biggest African artists in the space right now are not doing that. Rema's not doing that. Omale is not doing that. Thames is not doing that. Ashake is not doing that. Wizkid is not doing that. Burna Boy is not doing that. Like all the artists that are, Victini is not doing that. Shali Poppy is not doing that. I would say like a lot of the artists now are like production wise leaning towards the piano log drum. That's one. I think some are leaning towards the more melodic R&B lane. Like I think Thames basically to me is like what we would consider an R&B artist, but her production, the drums are African. The drums are African. So that's a weird one. I don't know what you would consider that. You know what I'm saying? And I think Burna Boy is the most versatile because he'll do some stuff that sounds hip hop. He'll do some stuff that sounds reggae. He'll do some stuff that sounds dancehall. So like I don't even know what you would consider him. And then Wizkid is like on this I'm My Piano wave crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm My Piano wave. I think he does it. Him and Ashake do it the best. You know, they do it the best, but they do it differently. But I wouldn't consider all of them to be in the same genre, which is the crazy part. It's like, to me, I mean, you could bleep it, but Afrobeats at this point is just. I mean, really, like it's like if we just all these artists are so good, they're so versatile, they're making great music. But if you were like, are these artists in the same genre? I would not say yes.
I'm coming from rap, hip hop, and where things are, they're trying to still box things into genres. So maybe this is just further confirming that music is just genreless at this point. Like it's really hard to put a genre on a lot of people at this point. I'm not even just talking Afrobeats. There's so many people where it's like, what are you making at this moment? Like, what is this considered? Like traditionally, I guess. So
that's why I tend to go back to, and at some point we'll have to sit down and really look at this space. But that's why I tend to go back to like production determines the genre.
Yeah.
Right. Because if Burna Boy raps on a song and Kendrick Lamar raps on a song and it's a similar production style, bad example, but it was two first artists that came to my head.
Yeah.
Why would Burna Boy be considered Afrobeats when he's on the same style of production and he's giving you a similar cadence over the beat? Or maybe not similar cadence, but he's giving you a rap cadence over the beat. Why would that not be rap?
Yeah, I guess it is kind of just, well, he's from Africa. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That Afrobeats is.
That's the episode. Thank you, bro. No, yeah. We'll have to find a better way to frame it for editorial purposes. But yeah. But I will say off the first listen of StarrGirl, I think she took a step on this project. I really do think she took a step on this project. The last song I listened to before I got on the mic was Letter to God. That song, that's a true R&B ballad. Like that's one of them you go back in like 7 or 8 years, I'm like, dang, I forgot about this one. That was a really good song. So I would suggest anybody into R&B. If you're into R&B, if you're into pop, if you're in that what people consider Afrobeats, I will go check out StarrGirl. This is a great project. Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I listened to it when it came out, actually. Night of. But I really like the song Wizkid, KWN, or K1. Sorry, I've been saying that wrong. She made great features. Thinks it's a good album. How do we categorize it? We'll figure it out. Thank you.
Erykah Badu and the Alchemist. I don't know why this makes so much sense, but it does make sense, right? They just put out a song called Witch Doctor. And and they have a project releasing on August 28th, and this will be Erykah Badu's first project in 16 years. What did you think of the song? Are you excited for the project? What do you think of Alchemist? Those are my 3 questions.
I think the song is good. I think it's definitely crazy that we're getting an Erykah album after 16 years. We saw her popping out with Lauryn Hill too, so obviously she's trying to be more visible. I think this is gonna be a good project just because we're getting that Alchemist production. Erykah Badu has been known to rap in the past, so that's not crazy for her to do. So I think we will get rap on here. I'd be interested to see though, if there's like R&B and kind of like that other lane she'll hop into with a producer like Alchemist. So definitely see.
Alchemist, to me, there are people across different domains that are like super inspiring as somebody who is a creative. And to me, Alchemist is one of those people because like it doesn't seem to be like I got enough money or I've got enough records and I'm a chill. It's like to me, it always feels like he's just doing it for the love. You know what I'm saying? And as a byproduct of doing it for the love for so long and actually applying himself, it's like he accumulated money and like status along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like he's done so many projects recently where it's like, bro, how do you keep topping yourself or like pushing it to a new space? You know what I'm saying? I'm very interested to see what this sounds like. And I don't know. I see it and I just be like, I gotta do more. He's one of those people to me.
Yeah, he definitely is. I love watching how the Alchemist work, and I mean, he's worked with so many of the greats, so gotta love him.
Last thing, we've talked about a lot of diasporic tension on this episode, but I wanted to come in here and recommend. This will not be my project of the year, but I feel like in my soul, I feel like it's going to make the top projects of the year list, in my opinion. Jules and Projects put out a collab project called Junction. It's 9 tracks. The features include Boj, an artist named Winnie, Pasalau, Valiant, and they described it as a national identity collaboration between Ghana and Jamaica. And I thought this was a great way to end the episode because we started off the episode with like cultural tension with beef. We start off the episode with beef, but I think this project definitely was a great marriage between 2 artists. What did you think of it?
I liked it a lot. I think hearing Pasa Loud, there's some people where it's like vocal tone, bro. Nasty. He's nasty. Freaking a song with Tate You Are was good too. I really liked that one as well. But yeah, this project was good. It's definitely one I'm gonna keep listening to.
I think Jules got an understanding of music. Like whatever his bag is my bag. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever his bag is my bag. We have the same bag or I stole his bag. I don't know. But this project to me was so like I love the artists that are putting out 8 songs every 8 months. I don't know about you. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Just give us 9 songs, give us 20 something minutes. We're going to bump this. And then 7 months later, you come back with 7 other songs. You know, I think the 2 singles that came out beforehand, Target and Rari, those are probably still my favorites off of the project. Like they're probably still gonna get the most listen for me. I think it's Winnie.
That was hard too. That was Weekend with Winnie, right?
Or was it Trust? No, it was Winnie. No. It was Time and Place. Time and Place. I've mentioned Lovers Rock on here before. Time and Place is a modern Lovers Rock song. That song is so good. That
album was hard for sure. I got a couple other ones I heard this weekend, but that one definitely got 2 rotations out of me. So
yeah. I think if you get more than 1 rotation by the time it's time to record, I think that's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
A win.
Without a doubt.
I'm going to give y'all one song off this project. I'll give y'all Time and Place by Projects and Jewels. That'll be the song we'll add to the playlist. What song do you want to add to the playlist? It doesn't have to be from the episode. It could be any song that you want to add. What you thinking?
I will add. I heard this song by Mavo. I actually put it in the Through the Week playlist. You can find that in our bio. But this is Slow by Mavo. Some people will call him Rookie of the Year, and are we calling it Afrobeat still? But yeah, Slow by Mavo. That was hard.
Okay. I think watching how cultures are having to acquiesce to this new age, like it does feel like because of the internet, where you're from matters both more and less. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's like where you're from matters more because that's how people initially identify you, but it matters less because somebody somewhere else is likely on the same thing that you are, and you just don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got for y'all this week. That's all I'm gonna leave y'all with. You know what I'm saying? Next week we're gonna talk about Notting Hill Carnival. If you're interested in that, 60 years, one of the biggest carnivals in the entire world. You know, I'm so sad I'm not there. I had multiple people hit my phone and ask if I was gonna be there. And I'm so sad. I'm so sad. You don't even know. I can't even tell y'all how sad I am, man.